morning. Welcome to Undisputed. I'm Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Guys,
Rogers looked good last night.
I have a prediction to make. I say that 24 hours from this very moment, you will be wearing a goat mask. And then you'll take it off and put on the baby goat mask for AD, because the Lakers parade starts tonight in Orlando, and it will come all the way across country to downtown Los Angeles.
I almost put on my 12 package.
Yeah. Why?
Look about it. You know, don't do that, Skip. You watched the game last night.
Against that team? that was like a high school team they played. Lord.
Well, I wish you could get a hold of Dallas's defense.
Yeah.
all right. I would like to talk about the GOAT. Maybe that mask.
Oh, yeah.
We're about to see pretty soon, guys, because LeBron and the Lakers are looking to bounce back in games.
Well, the Lakers just need to play Lakers basketball, come out with more intensity, not be careless with the basketball like they were Sunday night. We know they're a better team than what they displayed. And still, it took a historic effort from Jimmy Butler. It took LeBron and AD to play below what they been playing at in the playoffs in order for the Heat to win. They did pull away and win by double digits, but the game was nip and tuck. And even though AD was in foul trouble, he wasn't as aggressive as he needed to be. They were very careless with the basketball. The Lakers did take a 91-89 lead with, I think, about 9 minutes left in the ball game. So it just goes to show you the Heat they need to play really well, and the Lakers need to play well below the standard in which the Lakers have set for themselves. But Skip, there's something that I've noticed, and there's a point, a number that the Lakers need to get to. When the Lakers get to at least 30 points in the first quarter, they're 9-0. That's because it tells me that not only are they getting second chance points, they're scoring in the paint, they're getting out, they're up tempo. And that's what we need to see the Lakers. When they don't get to that number, they normally struggle throughout the game, because that means the team are getting, the opposing team is getting an opportunity to set their defense. And the Lakers are at their best when they're running, getting those early lobs to AD out in the fast break. If you notice, Skip, AD is always back. He's always deep. They always have the little guys. They have Dwight or they have LeBron at the line, because they're always looking for the heads up to try to get an advantage. AD on someone small, they throw it towards the rim. AD get it, dunk it, or get the foul. So I think that's what's going to happen. I know. And like I said, after Jimmy Butler said what he said, he's not winning another game.
That's it?
I'm going to follow you up, because I know what you're going to do.
Lakers in 5?
Lakers in 5.
That's what I predicted, and I will stand by my prediction. But I will also say tonight is a huge night for your man, LeBron James. This is a legacy night, because he got completely outplayed and he got called out by one Jimmy Butler in Game 3. And that was the first man who has ever outscored, out-rebounded, and out-assisted LeBron James in a finals game. Yeah. So that's pretty
opposing
impressive.
Team or own team.
Correct. And Jimmy Butler obviously put together a masterpiece of a 40-point triple-double. I thought it was the greatest triple-double in finals history. 40, 11, and 13. And it took, to your point, every last one of those points and rebounds and assists to pull off what I consider the greatest upset in finals history. Single game upset, not the total, obviously, but just single game. And it took all of that for the Miami Heat to shock your Los Angeles Lakers and bring this series back to mildly interesting at 2-1.
Right.
Well, obviously, if somehow the Heat replicated that tonight and pulled off 2-2, it would get extremely interesting. And I think the bandwagon would start to roll again for the Miami Heat. I think the Lakers bandwagon is going to roll over the Heat tonight, because the truth is this has been an epic mismatch in games 1 and 2. And I'm going to remind everybody, in game 1, the Lakers went on a tear in mid-game that went 77-32. That's how much better they were in game 1 than the Miami Heat. And I also remind everybody that Jimmy Butler had to do it on both ends, because they scrapped their zone in game 3. Thank God for that, because it is so torchable for LeBron and company, because it's not even a very good zone. I don't even get the concept.
Well, Skip, it's not so much that it's torchable, it's that it's hard to rebound. Because
I think it's torchable, because you're just going to get threes wherever you want them.
But the thing is, with torchable if the Lakers had guys that can consistently make threes.
All right. So Jimmy Butler said, let's not play any more zone. I assume it was his driving force of a push to say, let me take him. And so he took him most of the game. And again, Jimmy Butler had a plan. He said, I'm going to sag off LeBron. I'm going to just let him shoot the threes, but I'm going to try to bother him at the rim as much as I can. Right. And I thought he pulled that off, especially in the fourth quarter. He forced LeBron into 4 turnovers, and 2 of them were so un-LeBron because they were awkward-looking travels where he couldn't quite get his rhythm going to the basket because Jimmy's hanging with him, and Jimmy's fairly long, but he's very savvy and like a nasty defender where he gets angles, he gets spots, and he was getting his hand up to bother LeBron's drives where LeBron couldn't find the opening just to power it down or dunk it. And so 2 awkward travels, 4 total turnovers just in the fourth quarter, 8 turnovers for the game. And obviously, he had 3 three-point attempts that were, I thought they were just uncontested. I guess you could argue one of them had a mild contest, but they're shots that LeBron can make, and I believe he has to make those shots tonight because he will get dared to shoot those again tonight. Now we're back to the old Greg Popovich syndrome in theory that just dare him to shoot. We're going back to 2013-14 finals when Pop would be over there just waving defenders back from the line. Just let him shoot that. We just can't have him at the rim. What was the Spurs motto in those finals? No dunks. Because especially, we don't have a home crowd now, but especially when they were in Miami in those days, if he dunked it at home, you've made the point that now the dunk, it used to be the most electrifying play, but it's the three-point shot. But in LeBron's case, the dunk is still electrifying because he is still, dare I say, the most spectacular dunker. He can still rise, and it's always dramatic, spectacular. He'll put a little whipped cream on it.
A lot of it has to do with who's actually dunking the basketball. It used to be the dunk, anybody that dunk. Now it's still, if LeBron is the one that's dunking
I got it. Okay, so Jimmy Butler then said after the game that, and we're going to get into deeper debate on this a little later in the show, but Jimmy Butler said that LeBron told him at the end of the first quarter, you're in trouble. So at the end of the game, he makes the sort of the dagger shot, the drive shot with 1:15 left, and he goes to the bench saying they're in trouble, as in the Lakers, you're in trouble. Okay, you Lakers are in trouble. And there's discrepancy after the game. LeBron saying, well, I didn't start the trash talk, but Jimmy says, so to your point, it's a call out in many ways, on many levels. And here we go into what becomes a pivotal game 4. And it's time for LeBron to pay his team back for a pretty awful fourth quarter by his standards. And it's also time for him to guard Jimmy Butler. And I think he will. I think he'll take him. And I also think it's time for them to swallow their pride and say, let's try to give LeBron, if he's going to take him, let's give him some help, and let's get the ball out of Jimmy Butler's hands. They have not tried that yet. I
don't believe they will because of those marksmen that they have. They don't want to give up three-point shots.
Okay, but he is the whole show. He scored 40 points without taking a three, which is phenomenal. It's almost impossible in this day and age.
Well, here's the thing, Skip, but we did see him score 40 points in game 1 in the semifinals against the Bucks. But here we are in game 3 of the the finals that he gets another 40. So the likelihood of him scoring another 40 or having another historic epic game is not very likely.
He also had 6 in the closeout game against Indiana.
So let's not
Milwaukee, he had a 13-point game, and against Boston, he had a 14-point game because he doesn't seem to care egotistically about scoring. There's no ego involved. He just wants to win the game however they can win it.
And so for me, Skip, I don't think the Lakers will overcommit to Jimmy and let Tyler Hero and let Duncan Robinson, let guys get wide open looks at the basket for threes. They're not going to do that. They won't overreact. They just say, AD stays out of foul trouble. I expect AD. Because, Skip, if you think about it, they've always played through AD. AD normally gets the first shot unless it's a wide open three or LeBron gets something driving to the basket. Other than that, AD normally goes down on the block. They dump the ball down to him. Okay, AD, do whatever. And you remember, Skip, there were, what was that? The other night, I think the second half. Well, no, that was that, what game was that, Skip? When they dumped the ball like 7 straight times, AD got the ball. So before anybody even took a shot, AD had like 7 shots. That's what I expect. LeBron's not going to force it. LeBron is not going to get into a back and forth. Well, Jimmy did this, LeBron, you need to come back. That's not how he plays. He's never played like that.
I disagree with your point. They better swallow their pride. I would take the ball out of Jimmy's hands.